A former Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister backs government's plans to decriminalize marijuana. And in sport, West Indies lose the second T20 International against Bangladesh. I'm Ricardo Robertson. This is Caribbean in 10 for Thursday, December 20. I'll be back with the details after the break.
Facebook, Twitter, and let them know who got the JACC. Why type flow, you know it's knowledge, JACC. Why type flow, you know it's knowledge. Yo, tell them who you is, God.
As a chef, you want to be a chef? There's no such thing as an English cuisine. Now you go to England, you have some of the best food in the world. But we have that opportunity in the Caribbean. So we've come a long way, and Taste of the Caribbean that Peter spoke to is a part of that. But as somebody said, I think Chef Deuce said yesterday, you are in the vanguard of this because this is really starting to develop. Really starting to develop.
Former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Basdio Panday, is giving his support to government's plans to decriminalize marijuana and is offering suggestions on how it should be done. Earlier this week, Attorney General Faris Al-Rari told the Senate the time had come to debate the issue as several Caribbean countries have been contemplating legalizing the drug for medical and recreational purposes. More in this report from TV6 News.
If you want to decriminalize marijuana, why not permit people who want to use marijuana to plant a tree in their backyard?
That's former Prime Minister Basdio Panday's recommendation for the decriminalization of the herb. TV6 News spoke with Mr. Panday on the matter just one day after the Attorney General said the government will bring legislation for the decriminalization of marijuana to the Parliament within the first half of next year.
You can possess marijuana for the purpose of personal use. Right? It's like rum. You can drink rum, but you can't drink rum and hurt people. 1 tree for their use. Then there'd be no buying and selling of marijuana, and the criminal dimension of it will disappear.
The government is yet to offer any details on its decriminalization legislation.
I don't understand what they mean by the decriminalization of marijuana. Is it that they are going to grant the concession to plant and sell marijuana to a person, a single person, or a single company, or a single group? If that is what is going to happen, how is that going to end the real problem with marijuana, which is the gang warfare?
Under existing law, marijuana is an illegal drug in Trinidad and Tobago. The Prime Minister spoke of concerns about penalties that have seen people serving jail time for the possession of small amounts.
That report from Joel Brown. The Grenada Parliament yesterday began the process of repealing 4 pieces of legislation that the European Union has described as harmful tax practices. Now piloting the motion to repeal the International Companies Act, Legal Affairs Minister Kintra Maturin-Stewart said the legislation in its present construct gives incentives to foreign entities that are not domiciled in Grenada. The EU Intergovernmental Code of Conduct Group on Taxation deemed the legislation unfair and lacking transparency. Last year, Grenada was among a group of 90 countries that the EU selected to be screened against tax transparency, harmful tax practices, and base erosion profit shifting. Maturin-Stewart told legislators that it had therefore become necessary to amend, examine, and abolish tax measures or regimes that constitute harmful tax practices. Now, apart from the International Companies Act, the government is also moving to repeal the International Insurance Act, the International Trusts Bill, and the Offshore Banking Act. St. Kitts Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris has welcomed the date given by Speaker Michael Perkins for the debate of the motion of no confidence in his administration. The debate will be held on Christmas Eve. Harris said the date suggests the matter is being treated with urgency. Opposition leader Dr. Denzel Douglas filed the motion last week after he said Prime Minister Harris presents a clear and present danger to democracy in the Twin Island Federation. Now, the former Prime Minister also alleges that the activities of the incumbent have denigrated the office of the Prime Minister and have tarnished the good name and standing of the country both regionally and internationally. Douglas is calling on legislators to support the motion and ensure the immediate resignation of Harris, who led his coalition team Unity grouping into office in the February 16, 2015 general election. Now, in the motion, Douglas claims that since being sworn into office, Harris has governed St. Kitts and Nevis in a manner that has seen a rapid erosion of the democratic and good governance standards enshrined in the Constitution. He also charges that the rights, liberties, and democratic interests of citizens are being trampled upon using methods that are reminiscent of a full-blown dictatorship. Prime Minister Harris said the refusal to debate the motion of no confidence by the Douglas administration was a fundamental breach of parliamentary practice and tradition and a violation of the constitutional right as found by the High Court. And stay with us, your Midday Sport is next. Welcome back. It's now time for sport. West Indies had lost the second T20 International against Bangladesh by 36 runs at the Sherry Bangla Stadium today, levelling the three-match series at 1 apiece. Now, batting the host posted a competitive 211 for 4 in their allotted 20 overs, with Litan Das hitting a top score of 60, while Mahmudullah added an unbeaten 43. All-rounder Shakib Al-Hasan was also not out on 42. Medium pacer Sheldon Cottrell was the pick of the bowlers with figures of 2 for 38. In reply, Shakib Al-Hasan returned to fluster the Windies in their runs chase. He picked up figures of 5 for 21 as the Caribbean men folded on 175 in 19 overs. Rovman Powell scored a half-century in the innings, while Shea Hope added 36 and Kemo Paul 29. Mustafizur Rahman was also instrumental in the wicket taken for the Bangladesh side as he grabbed 2 wickets for 50 runs. The decider will take place on Saturday in a day-night fixture at Dhaka. And a possible name change is among a raft of changes which historic cricket stadium Sabina Park could undergo if the Jamaica Cricket Association follows through on its ambitious 10-year redevelopment plan. The JCA is mulling over the acquisition of naming rights similar to what is done internationally and is also planning some infrastructural changes like a sports lounge, an accommodation facility and a jogging track on the perimeter. The accommodation facility, the Sabina Park Inn, will be a 3-star product aimed at boosting accommodation. That's Caribbean Intent. Join us again at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.